Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Super License F1 podcast. My name's Rod.
And I'm Zach.
Going with Rod this year, Zach.
I
New
was
year,
gonna.
new me.
It caught me out. I was ready for the second syllable, and I was like,
You were delaying. I left an extra syllable delay before jumping in. Where's the knee?
He's just all leg, no knee this year. He's just Rod. I'm well, mate. Should I? I feel like I can't believe you've gone all like F1 team name change on me, and I came with nothing. I'm the Ferrari of the podcast. I'm just Scuderia Zach over here still.
You could have tried harder. This is true. Maybe we should give ourselves names like Rod MP74, and you could be Zach, or you could be Scuderia Zach or something. But it's top of mind because New Year, New Us as well, I guess, as well as the podcast, which is back. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But we're going video as well. We're also, if you so wish, you could watch this as a video on the YouTube.
Glasses if we're going to be doing video. I just noticed I'm wearing just my regular glasses.
To de-age by about 15 years, I reckon.
Put the smoothing on. I noticed this.
Smoothing.
I in my jobs, do video calls every now and again, and one of the video platforms doesn't do a lot of smoothing, or it doesn't do a very good job of smoothing. And I jump on one of the other ones for an external call. I'm like, I look fantastic. And then you jump on a Google Meet call, and there's nowhere to hide on Google Meet, and you're like, oh, is this me actively making me worse? Like, look, have they got an aging, to like an unsmoothing, like a Fisher button that you can turn Fishers up and down?
This is a very visual thing, but you've got a bit of an Apple Vision Pro kind of look going with the blurry.
Oh yeah, I do kind of look like a Persona. Yeah,
Persona.
I should have. That is. Yeah, these are good visual gags.
Yes, this is great. Welcome to another F1 year. It's the year 2024, the year of our Lord, and we are going to be talking today about some of the news from testing, all of the liveries, giving our hot takes, and some of the other news. So I don't know that there's any time to waste, but shall we cease wasting time and get into some stories?
Let's do it, please. Goodness me. Where do you want to start?
Man, one story set the F1 world ablaze. It was not just the biggest F1 story. It was not even just the biggest sports story. It was the biggest news story. Even here, Lewis friggin' Hamilton going to Scuderia friggin' Ferrari. What do you think of that?
You think it's a joke, right? You see people are quick with the Photoshops. You're like, that looks funny and weird. Here we go. This is a good, and I love the way
breaking. Yeah, very funny. That beam isn't overused.
Yeah. and then you see a couple of tweets about it. You're like, oh, nah, probably. And then you get it from someone real that you're like, oh, I believe that person. Like, oh, it's a Luke Smith talking about it. I met him.
Exactly.
He's right. He works at the Athletic. I mean,
he's a real person, not AI. This must be real. Is this motorsport? Is this motorsport the joke side, or is this the real motorsport? I'm reporting this.
Yeah, I couldn't.
In some ways, it came from nowhere. In some ways, there were leaks of rumors and whispers last year, but it was all put down to he's just trying to get more money, out of Mercedes, and this is all just scuttlebutt. And there's always scuttlebutt, but it wasn't.
No, it was real. What do you think his motivation is, Rod? Like, why? Let's get into the deepness of it. Obviously, Mercedes aren't happy about it. And they'll be scrambling to find the next guy. Which is,
the thing.
Why?
You say Mercedes aren't happy about it. How many more years do you think that they might have got out of Lewis?
I mean, how old is he now? Yeah, I reckon probably 2, maybe. Yeah, a couple more, maybe, before he
exactly. No more than a couple more, right?
Yeah, that gets you to maybe 2026 though. The new standards, all that kind of stuff.
But maybe not. And Lewis wants big bucks. He wants big bucks now. He wants big bucks after he retires. He wants, huge bucks. He wants 5-bedroom terraces in London, not 2.
Yeah, that's true.
He wants mega dollars. Now Ferrari have got deep pockets enough that they can do that. Mercedes, I think, everyone was like, oh man, Mercedes really shit the bed by letting Lewis go. I'm not sure. I think this was a pretty 50-50 thing for them, and if he stayed, great, but if he left, they're like, look at the billions of dollars we just saved.
Yeah, I think Mercedes are like, we're also a business with shareholders and a board and all this kind of stuff. Not to say Ferrari isn't that, but I think Ferrari also has like pot of money over here that is called play money that Shell and BMI give them. And they're like, cool. So this is all the play money you can have to make the cars go fast or whatever, make them really red. I also think that this is it's the call of the red car. I mean, I sound like Will Buxton,
There's a bit of that.
right? But I think that if you're going to make a change and there's an offer to do, or there's a way to do it, I think Lewis must have just been like, God, I've been at Mercedes my whole bloody life. It feels like.
Basically.
I've done it all now. Is it time to go and just try it somewhere else?
And it's a risk.
I'll always have that.
But he's taking that risk as a 7-time world champion. It's not like he's never won one. It's not like he's like, this is like my best shot is at Mercedes, so I have to stay for as long as possible. He's like, I might get one, but I also might not. And if I'm maybe not going to get one, I may as well maybe not get one at Ferrari, the most prestigious team on the grid.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
I suppose you get to live in a nice part of Italy if you wanted to as well. I mean, there's loads of things that'll go into that contract around, like how much he has to.
I don't think he's going
to.
No,
he just keep living in Monaco, I suppose.
He'll be on his private jet straight back to Monaco or to LA or wherever he's going.
Smaller flight from Emilia Romagna to Monaco. Just down the road, really. Get the train if you wanted to. Just drive down there, I guess. I don't. There's so much good speculation we can do, and this is with distance. I think this makes sense, but I do want to live in the Lewis to Ferrari thing a little longer because it never. I think one of the big reasons it felt so crazy is it just never felt like it would happen. Like I think it's the kind of thing you talk like that's classic pub chat. I was like, yeah, but like, I mean, what would be really cool? Could you imagine Lewis at Ferrari? Never. Like I could have imagined him at like Aston Martin before that, you know, or even Red Bull before Ferrari. I don't know what it was, but Ferrari has felt like just the complete opposite of his career and Mercedes in every single way.
I think it's partly because Ferrari have incredible resources to draw from. Hamilton has incredible talent to draw from. But I feel like everybody thought the two just would never mix.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's going to cost so much money. But also, when the car could be that good, then any driver could make it good. When Lewis is that good, he can make any car good. So they don't need each other that much.
Yeah.
But it turns out this isn't a move based on need. It's a move based on want.
Yeah. And at some point, I suppose if you are like, it's like, it's a bit of main character energy, right? Like Ferrari being like, no, we can go and get we can go and get the best guy. Like if he's around, we are the other team, even though we never win anything. We're actually the daddies of the sport here. And then people really want to be here and with us. It's, I suppose that was it, right? That it was just like, I don't know. I try to think about it in other sports or other parts of the world where it's just like, no, we're just going to go and get the best guy.
I feel like Fred Vasseur has been, from all reports, like basically he's maxing out his credit card and trying to buy that team, trying to I guess replicate that team that Ferrari put together in the late 90s, the dream team.
Just get the best people.
Doesn't matter what you have to pay. Go and get the best of everybody that you can. And he's hoping that will be a big investment that will set them up for years worth of success. I'm sure that's what he is. I'm sure that's the vision that he's sort of offered them. We're not interested in winning one. We want to win 5.
Well, yeah, and it's the only way to, you have to completely course correct, right? That gap analysis of well, if we just keep going the way we are, we'll just continually coming second, third, and fourth. Like there is no, every now and again you'll win one. So, yay, cool for you. But at some point, don't you want to just be once again, we are absolute excellence, and it's really the only thing we do as well. Like Ferrari, this is our pinnacle, and that's what I've always found so crazy about Ferrari in this kind of whilst we've been doing this podcast is that the teams that have been dominating are like, this isn't even our main thing. This is this is your main thing. Like, this is all you really do. Yeah. And you still aren't winning. And we're Mercedes. We are a massive car company, and that's really our main job. But when we run this formula, and we're constantly talking about how maybe we don't want to do this anymore, but we've still got all the best people. And then you've got a drinks company over here that's like, we just do this for marketing. But seemingly we keep finding all the best people and keep making all the best stuff. And then there's Ferrari, the furniture. But this is all you focus on. So, I think I suppose it's a costly vision for Fred to put in there, but at the same time, it's the only way to go and do it. And maybe there's lots of people like Lewis who would be like, all right, I've done my time at these other teams. I want to go work at Ferrari now. And it's a pretty cool place, I think. It's a pretty good dream to sell.
What do you think of this take? This was my favorite line on it, which was that it's a reverse Schumacher, because Schumacher won a heap of championships at Ferrari and then went for the last few years of his career to Mercedes, and Hamilton's done the reverse.
Doing the other way. Ooh, I like it. The reverse shoey. I think we need to take the shoey idea
reverse
away
shoey.
from Daniel Ricciardo and put some grandiosity back into that. Does that mean if it's the reverse shoey, the reverse Schumacher, because Schumacher also like got the Mercedes team going in a way that paved the way for the next guys to come in and win all the world championships? Who's the guy behind Lewis that's going to come into Ferrari? That's going to be like, is it Charles already there? Charles the Rosberg. Maybe he'll get
one championship. He's going to step in and do the reverse Hamilton, and then
yeah.
So who's won one championship that's on the grid? Is there anyone left? There's no one.
That's the thing. There's no one left.
The ones are gone. There's a tour in Alonso, but he's not going to drive till he's 50. So
basically one, right? People who watch Formula One now are like, Fernando Alonso won a world championship. That's crazy. When was that? It's like before you were born. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was that long ago.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry the sport's been around for so long.
Too apologetic.
How do you think it'll go? Do you think that it's gonna like the best thing about it is we get to speculate about it all year.
Yeah,
like
year.
That's bizarre, right? Why do that? Why announce it a year out? Is it just for the drama? Did Formula One management get involved in like, if you could do that so we can have a year of speculation about who's going to get what drives, that'd be so good. Or so we can sneak it into Drive to Survive for this season.
One theory that I heard that I thought was really good was that by announcing it, everybody now knows Lewis is going to Ferrari from next year. Are you an engineer? Are you a strategist? Are you an aerodynamicist? Come and work with Lewis at Ferrari. What I also heard, though, that contradicts that is that there's a clause that there's like a non-poaching clause, whatever you call that. I'm not a lawyer. Yeah. This will shock people. Shock waves in the F1 community. Rod's not a lawyer.
Also not a lawyer.
But there's some anti-poaching thing. Like he can announce it, but that doesn't mean that the team can go and steal everybody. I don't know.
No, because you're still going to have a gap between the year that you were working there and I suppose you could say, I suppose that Ferrari could go and grab some people who are like, well, if you just quit today and then we can have you in a year's time, that would be quite good.
Well,
but this is
what I mean.
They
serve the gardening leave. That's exactly.
Yeah, but it'll be a long-term project. I think you're right. I think that Fred's got his eyes on let's get the best guy, let's get all the best people and build this team up for the next bit. Maybe it is the Oscar Piastris of the world or maybe exactly. Charlotte, it'll be maybe Max at some point. That's the thing. I can see Max going there before Lewis. Always. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, he did it so hard at Red Bull and then they've finally come good. I feel like he's there to like wrestle as much as he can out of that. But I do agree that if Red Bull like lose the plot, he will leave. Like he will just 100%. 180 degree on his heels and leave. Like he's that kind of guy. But
so with the Christian Horner stuff, maybe that does go sideways and maybe Red Bull do lose the plot and maybe Max is like, well, there is that drive at Mercedes. There is that cool drive there. They got to sort a million things out at Mercedes this season.
Before we move away from this one, though,
please.
What about Sainz? Where to for Sainz?
Poor Carlos, right? But
I think he's unlucky.
Talk about the hipster choice, right? You speak to anybody who in and around Formula One, they're like, actually, Carlos Sainz is the fastest driver you'll ever see. He's actually the best. Yeah. And and then the rest of the F1 world is like, but Charles Leclerc though, we all like him because he looks like Formula One. He absolutely shafted. I love that Fred Vasseur was like, "Oh, this was such a hard call to make," and I can just imagine Carlos.
It's not a hard call. That's literally it. It's the easiest possible call.
Actually calling Carlos would have been a hard call.
Oh, the phone call.
The actual phone call. While he's on holiday and be like, hey, by the way, you'll never believe it. Lewis Hamilton's coming. And that's so exciting. Yeah. But I mean, how we only have two seats at the table.
Yeah. Everybody who's going to be driving for Ferrari that year, step forward. Carlos, where are you going?
Not you, Carlos. Where is he going to go? Does anybody else think that he's that amazing? Or is he a... I don't like.
I think before the last couple of years, probably not. But I feel like his stint at Ferrari has actually served him pretty well in that regard.
Yeah, I think so too.
Are Red Bull going to want him? I don't think so. But maybe Mercedes. I don't know. I just. There's something. This is the dumbest rationalization for it. But
Welcome
the straight driver swaps are so boring. I feel
like
people won't do it because it's too cringe.
Bad. Yeah, exactly. It also makes it seem like the team who's getting the other guy didn't have any like creativity or
Yeah.
control over the deal. They're like, oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose
No, we
you
always
did
wanted
free him
Carlos.
up.
That's why we
Yeah,
let
actually, that's
Lewis
why
go.
we did it. Yeah, we think
Yeah.
Carlos is
That's why we
that's
set
the
this all
press
up.
conference. We're like, we think Carlos has got great pedigree. He'll be a great
What a masterful play we
influence
made.
on George Punchable Russell. That it's all coming together really. That was the plan the whole time. No, I mean, there's talk of him. Maybe he's the Audi guy, right? Maybe he'll just be
Yeah,
off.
but
Like that's the
that's
long
the
term
problem
play.
is he's got that 1 year before Audi come in and he has to leave. So what does he do?
Because you know what he should do? Go win the World Rally Championship like his father before him, and then we'll see who's the senior out of the. Who's the senior now, Dad?
We'll see who's dad. Yeah.
Who is Dad? I'm carving the turkey at Christmas. Do they have that in Galicia? Is that where he's from? Anyway, so yeah, I feel bad for Carlos as much as you can feel bad for any Ferrari driver, I suppose. I'm sure
Of
he's
course,
not
you can feel
thinking
bad.
about it.
People feel bad for Charles Leclerc all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Poor Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, poor Charles
He's going to get rinsed by Lewis as well. That's rough. I think Lewis is going to be really fast. Do I believe that? Yeah, I actually do. I think this is the.
Well, I mean, the
Yeah,
thing is,
he's gonna
Lewis.
be
It's
great.
it's the end of Lewis's career. This is the twilight of his career, right? But for Charles Leclerc, he's what, mid-career at worst.
At
So this is going to make or break
late
him, right?
son, but yeah, this is it.
Because if he doesn't measure up, then he's screwed.
But I suppose he's seen off challenges before, right? Like he's had people come into the
Sebastian
team.
Vettel.
Yeah, exactly. I could have beaten Sebastian Vettel in that period of his career. He, it was so bad for him. He went completely. He changed his whole persona. He became a new person. He was humbled, and then he became like,
It was so bad he grew a beard.
and his hair long. It was so weird. Still weird.
He loves bees now.
Would you? Because there was a bit of playful chat around that, right? That you could get Sebastian Vettel into the Mercedes for a
There was.
season between seasons. That'd
He's
be a
not done
real.
that.
That's a real blow to the rest of the Formula One grid. I think when stuff like this happens, that you look at this and you go, well, we'll just either switch them around, or we'll keep
That's what that
Fernando
was
Alonso
for.
for a little bit longer, or we could get Rosberg back. There's also that. And Nico Rosberg
He said no.
drifting.
But
around.
I mean,
Did anyone ask? I
yeah,
mean,
that's exactly right.
just letting everyone know, taking myself out of the game, take me
Yeah.
off the
I
chessboard.
know that this is the hottest topic in F1
you know.
right now, but I won't be returning. Like,
Yeah. No, what's his face? Pastor Maldonado, he's out. He said he didn't want to do it. Daniel Kvyat as well. He was like, not available. Don't worry about it.
no one can
Jaime
reach Kimi
Alguersuari.
Räikkönen.
Everyone,
Unavailable.
Kimmy. No one's heard from Kimmy in a long time. We don't even
No.
know where Kimmy is. But I mean, of all the drivers though, who I think could come out and do a job, Kimmy's probably it. Maybe I don't know. I think it's going to be great for Lewis. It's going to be really interesting. I can't wait to see him in that red race suit. I can't wait to see how like a well drilled, well done Ferrari is the best thing in Formula One. And if we could get a genuine like 3 or 4 horse race at the front, that would just be incredible. What a great way to finish off this period of Formula One.
Yeah.
To have them actually duking it out.
What a thing to tune in for. And what a great way for Lewis to wrap up his career.
Oh God, a Ferrari championship. Really stick it to
Just
Red
driving
Bull.
there. Let alone
That'd
have
be
a
great.
championship. Just driving there.
Yeah, just driving there. He's going to be so annoyed though. Oh, the radio calls are going to be excellent. Like I know there's been a lot of memes about that. Like we're on plan D, and he'll be like, "What? Fuck you! I'm not coming in." But I don't know. Maybe it's also the right time. Like maybe he's become really. I think he's become more mature and stuff. And I think that the last season and a half hasn't really gone to plan. And I think he's really become like, okay, well, I need to give really good feedback and like help evolve and help the team become better. And you can't just complain. Not say he's just done. I don't know him personally, right? But
You don't?
I think it'd be good for. No, I don't. I don't know why that tickled me so much. No, upon reflection, I don't have his phone number in my WhatsApp. But yeah, I think he'll be. Maybe look, you can't say that it'll. Like past times when people look on a Ferrari and really help them clean up their act. But maybe it will be. Maybe the. But there are parts of me that thinks that it'll blow up as well, because maybe Charles will really hate it. Maybe people won't want to work with Lewis Hamilton in that way. I don't know. Do you like, if I'm being pretty positive about it, do you think Do you think he's, by the time he joins, is he the jewel in the crown that will then give them that extra like 10% to get them a championship?
I think what would be interesting to see is whether he settles for,
Mm.
like you say, getting that boulder rolling so that he has enough momentum after he leaves for success for the team. Whether I'm not sure that he is motivated by that. It'll be interesting to see, I think, how the Hamilton fans react, because I think for a while it was like Team LH, Mercedes for life.
Yeah,
Now all
got
of
the
a
Mercedes
sudden,
tattoo.
I think Ferrari is just a different vibe, and I'm not sure that the LH vibe and the Mercedes and the Ferrari vibe gel 100%. But I mean, this is also to a degree, I think, completely uncharted waters that we haven't seen the whole time I've been watching Formula One. With this kind of dream scenario, it's just never happened.
It
This
used to
way.
happen all the time, right? Or it felt like when you look back through the annals of Formula One history, it would be, that I think we even talked about this maybe with the box and neutral guys, that we were like, this doesn't really happen, that you, the best driver at one team and where they're
Yeah,
winning,
yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
moves to one of the other amazing teams. And it did seem to, in days of yore, that it would be like, all right. And then there was more changing. Like, obviously there were periods of dominance, but you would see some more changes like that. But it's become a much more stable sport, I suppose. One more question I'd like to pose, just if we're going to keep talking about Ferrari.
And then we'll
is
wrap it
that-
up after that.
Yeah. What does this say now about Ferrari's ability to go and find talent themselves? Because they haven't had a racer that they have kind of uncovered on their own. Maybe you could say Charles Leclerc, I suppose, but who, like, they haven't had a guy, right? Everybody else come through somebody else's program, has been through something
Yeah.
different. Like,
They
they're
were
not
always just like, well, we don't need to, because I mean they've got a driver program, and Charles Leclerc went through that and was promoted. So I mean,
Yep.
he's a success. It's the same way that
He is
all
the
the
guy.
Red Bull drivers were.
yeah,
But
all of
that
them
said-
successes.
That said, all of the success that they've had in winning championships and stuff, they always just bought the best driver off the shelf.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. I wonder about that. I suppose they're not a huge outfit, right? I mean, they are in Formula One, but as far as an entity in all of racing goes, there are other reasons for like Red Bull to have a big programs, because they want to be in all the sports for advertising.
Yeah.
And Mercedes is like, well, we've got cars in every level of every sport around, so we know where all these guys are.
Valid.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, good luck
We're
to Lewis.
excited. I think that's where we're at.
Can we be excited all season? It's very weird. It's a very weird situation, I think.
The thing
I
I'm
think
not
it's gonna-
excited for is Lewis and Mercedes this season. I've got no
Oh.
interest in this whatsoever.
Yeah, what do you think this means for George Russell then? This is not on the plan, but like, what do you think that now it's George's team and he's like, I am the
mean-
number one driver now?
I would like to see Lewis ask whether he could pit ahead of Mercedes or like Lewis, or whether could Russell give me a tow for qualifying? I wouldn't. I don't see
even go
anything
near it.
like that happening. So there's
No.
going to be a year of that.
No, he's going to go to the radio and there'll be no one on the other side because they've already been moved over to Ferrari or they're on guarding leave. Is it, guys?
Oh, the-
Guys? No, he's changing his own tires.
Why don't you go and ask your Italian friends? All right. You dropped something before about talking to Box of Neutrals, and that triggered me to remember. That's right. The other big news story, which I predicted on the last chat that we had with Box of Neutrals, Gunther Steiner leaving Haas, or more accurately, Haas telling Gunther Steiner, thanks, but we want to see other
thank you.
people.
Yeah. There's only so long, I suppose, you can ride on the cult of personality, and at I mean, it's incredibly difficult to run a Formula One team in those circumstances as well. I feel like he got them through some of the really hard circumstances. But I think that Formula One has stabilized to a point where like none of the teams are really going anywhere, and the drawbridge has kind of been lifted up. It's like if you're not in it already, you're not getting in it. Andretti's not coming in. Basically, we might get Audi, but even there's been wobbles around like Audi, like we're joining, and then they go quiet about it for like a year, and no one really says anything. And they're moving guys around. There was news today that they're moving people around, and maybe that program might not get off the ground. Who knows? So when it starts to stabilize in that way, you kind of go, you're maybe more emboldened as an owner, like Gene Haas is, to kind of be like, well, what's like, I'm done with this guy. He needs he's probably done too. Let's try something different and see if we can go to the next level.
Yeah, I think that it's exactly the kind of move that picks up on that vibe that I was picking up on to say you got to get rid of Gunter if you're going to take this seriously. Because if you just tread water the way you have been the last 6 or whatever years, you're just wasting everyone's time. I didn't expect that he was actually going to do it, but I did say if you're serious, you've got to actually make a change. I'm glad they did, and I think ultimately it'll be good for everybody. It is a bit awkward because I'm getting heaps of like Instagram ads saying, "Come while in Melbourne, come to an evening with Gunter Steiner," and I was like, "Oh." I mean, that's going to be the best night because he'll be off the chain.
Yeah.
But was that planned? Were they like, he has to fly out to Melbourne now during the Grand Prix and do this event?
Yeah.
I mean,
surely that won't happen,
spicy.
right? It is spicy. How do you feel about the internal promotion of Ayao Komatsu? Like, is that
You got to promote someone.
well? No,
was-
you
I
could
mean, are you gonna
hire.
say-
You could hire externally. You could go and get one of the guys.
Well, the other
from
thing that
one of the
I was,
people.
you mentioned this, you dropped this earlier, but I was going to be like, Christian Horner might be free soon.
Ooh, off to fucking Haas, man.
And
that
Gunter
was
Steiner
too
might
much
be free
chaos.
soon. So, hey,
Just after, hey, yeah. Why don't we have silly parts of the season where you got to swap team principals for a race? Why not? Right, for a day. Let just walk in another person's shoes. You know.
could be good,
Um,
good for everybody.
I mean, he's obviously it's interesting, right? Because we did see a point where like Steiner was like, "Hey, you need to be doing way better. This team's a mess. Like, why aren't you? You need to be meaner to them. You need to hold them to more account.
Be
Like,
meaner.
you need to be more like me and yell at them." And now, just looking at the first news story when I Google his name is like, "Hey, I'm not going to be Gunter Steiner." Maybe that's probably the main thing, right? Be someone different for this team. Going to take them to a different. Like, run them in a different way, I suppose. But how many options does he have? Like, what kind of change could he make? Because not like the funding's changing, or
Yeah,
still
I
stuck
think
with
that's
the
right.
with the.
I think he's done
two-
everything he could
two
with
boys.
the variables, the knobs
The
that
knobs.
he has to. He's
I
fiddled
love that
them in
you went
every
like
way
this,
that there
and I was like, the knobs.
Yeah. Do you mean knobs? Yeah. Talk about knobs. He's fiddled the knobs and put them in every various setting that he can. But nothing like anything that he could have unlocked in that team, he already has. So what's the benefit of keeping him?
Yep. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I suppose. Maybe he was just too much chaos as well, Gunter. Like that, it was sponsors. Maybe he gave him too much airtime. I
The
don't know.
story, I think, sort of went away. But do you remember, like 6 months ago when he was like, "Oh, and by the way, remember that handshake deal that we had where I own half the team or whatever?" And they were like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh
What?
yeah, you know that deal where I get a heap of money." And they were like, "What are you talking about?" I think that just quietly kind of went away. But I'm sure. Well, I
Sure
don't
he's
know.
still
Maybe that
fine.
had something to do with it.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was all very weird.
It'd be interesting to. Honestly, I don't think anything much is going to change. I think Haas are destined to just be. You got to have a middle part of the pack, right? And
True.
that's them, and good for them.
True.
You know, and I look forward to seeing Carlos Sainz driving for them next year.
Shall we move on to reviewing some liveries and
Yes.
car launches?
Yeah, I've got feelings.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, what we're going to do, in previous years, we've pulled up just for ourselves photos of all the cars and talked about them. But now that we're in the era of videos, we can actually, I can actually
video
share
era,
into the
finally.
old thingos. We're going to have a look at the old cars. So the first one up is Haas, car of the day. Should we bring that one in?
Yeah. Whilst you're bringing it up, could I ask
Yeah.
you, what did you do for the messianic
Halloween?
visit of Taylor Swift in Melbourne? Did
Oh.
you?
Oh, unbelievable. 3 nights. Unfortunately, I could only get tickets to 2, but what a show. I paid as little attention as
As
I
little
could,
attention as
obviously.
possible. Right.
Luckily, it didn't clog up the city too much. I did. I was walking around the city one of the days, and I was like,
Why so busy?
there's teenage girls everywhere. Is the city always like this? And I'll tell you this, every single shop that you went to was playing T-Swift.
Wow. Good for them. I'm glad that
Well, they know what they're doing.
the economic uplift of the Taylor Swift show kind of came in.
I
My
don't
my
wanna-
sister went. You joke about 2 out of the 3 nights. My sister did go 2 out of the 3 nights. So
Get out of town.
she couldn't because Taylor Swift was there. It was clogging up all of the. My favorite thing though, and I'm going to bring this back to Formula One, was the TikTok furor over the fact that people were like, "There's aerial shots," and it's Taylor's biggest show, right? 96,000 people. It's the biggest amount of people she's ever performed in front of. Beautiful shots of the MCG, and a lot of Americans saying, and Canadians, "Where is all the car parking?" no way that everyone
Yeah.
caught public transport to that show. You've hidden the car park somewhere. Where is it? Like,
Must be
where are
under
all the
the stadium.
cars? It's under the stadium. And Shane's just been like, no. Like, especially my Burnians, like people like you, been like, no, you might drive to the train station and get the train in, but like you wouldn't.
Literally do it 3 times every weekend.
Yes, but you wouldn't drive into the MCG for with 100,000 other people. That would be utter madness. And there is now this absolute conspiracy that
Yeah.
no, it's impossible that more than 10% of people caught the train to that show, that everyone else drove, and they must have, and people on Google, like Street View, hunting out the parking that exists and being like, yep, they would have parked here and here, and like
Well,
the images have been doctored. It's great.
But there are people, and you've been to the football, and I've been to the cricket and whatever. There are people that
People
leave
drive.
the stadium and walk,
Yes, they walk a kilometre.
deep into Richmond, maybe Abbotsford, to park. Like there are people that drive.
Exactly.
It happens.
Yeah, it's the same
The
for the Grand
city
Prix,
car
right?
parks are not far away.
would
They're
park
5 minutes, 10
around,
minutes walk.
Like, I live relatively close to Albert Park. People would park on my street
Yeah,
and
to
walk
there.
to.
It was crazy.
Like,
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. But anyway,
doable.
I really enjoyed that. But the link to Formula One is we have the Miami Grand Prix because around that stadium is enough room to have a Formula One track because it's all car parking. Which is like maybe that's the ticket, right? Why isn't the Melbourne Grand Prix extended outside of Albert Park and around all of the faux car parking around
Could
Melbourne
be.
Park and the tennis centre and the MCG?
Lots of people go to
Anyway.
Albert Park, and then you know what they do with Albert Park? The whole centre is a big car park. But there you go.
Tell me about this Haas, Rod. Could they have been more plain?
It's not great, is it? It's very black, very white, very red. I get White Stripes energy from this, but
The
I mean,
St Kilda
the car
Football
itself
Club
looks
was,
pretty good, but it's not. It's. I mean, this is the Gunter Steiner of liveries, isn't it?
the Steiner of liveries. Yes, I think so. I think the good thing is though, I think the cars look fantastic this season. I think this season and last season
looks more narrow. It probably isn't, but it looks more narrow.
Yeah, everyone's gone for the tighter back end. I think that has been working, and they have the appearance of being narrower. They're still really long. I'm not going to do it this year, Rod. I'm not saying it. Cars are fine. Okay,
But
I'm
we
not
all
gonna
know
shame.
it. Wink.
We all know my big problem with the size of Formula One cars, and that's why we don't get all the overtaking and stuff. But I'm not going to say it.
I'm gonna make.
Do they
you say
only
it.
pick sponsors that are black, white, and red? MoneyGram and Chipotle and Haas are to narrow down the color palettes of the people they're allowed to work with.
Pretty convenient. I'm going to see if they put on the red wheels, the red stripe wheel. Oh, they've got white stripe wheels. My theory was always that they put on whatever wheels with the stripe that matches their livery to complement. So they've done that. Great job.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right.
Ready to move on. Any? Should we sum this up in one word?
Here we go again. That's not one word. It's one. It's a.
Boring.
Boring. Okay, yeah, that'll do. Next. I
That's
feel like a few of them
fine.
might be like that.
What have we got next? Oh, Williams.
This is okay.
Will I? Yeah.
One of the teams that's kept its name the same, which is good for us.
Oh,
I was
don't even
watching
get me
testing
started.
yesterday, and I was like, I don't recognize these logos. I don't know what team that is. Hearing a lot about Sauber, and I didn't know they were a Formula One team.
Still with
this
the old,
was-
still with the old Duracell.
And Komatsu. And I learned this about Ted Kravitz yesterday while he was doing a little bit of commentary. He was like, one of my favorite things to look out for is the names of team principals and drivers on other people's
yes.
cars. And so he's like, Komatsu, there we are, the Haas team principal, but on the Williams car on the side. How about that? And I was like, God, you fucking love this sport, mate. You're so deep you're so far through the looking glass on Formula One. But yeah, I think this is nice. I like that color.
My protein. Is that a protein?
No, actually, no. They actually sell
What?
steel beams. Yeah, just the
Okay.
guy's name. It's his surname actually. It's Stephen Miprotein. But no, definitely a protein.
And their slogan is unmeltable.
Okay.
Kraken equally.
Is
I don't know.
Is
It
that
triggers the imagination.
Is Kraken? Are they a Bitcoin thing?
Oh, it's going to be some bloody oil company or something.
Hey, they're the only reason this sport exists, my friend. Kraken. I'm going to Google these things as
Yeah.
well.
Well, I'm busy clicking
crypto
forward and backwards
exchange.
on the old.
Yeah,
Oh,
a
golf.
crypto
I don't
exchange.
like that.
Oh, but We like their liveries.
I like the
previously.
liveries, but it has connotations. to
Those are
things.
made up names. Ingenuity Commerce with the
Is it?
exclamation mark and
Are
Vast.
they placeholders?
Yeah, they're AI generated. What's Julia Hub? I've never heard of these brands. I don't understand a lot of Formula One advertising anymore. I'm like, if people don't know them, what are they there for? But they're
Hasn't
there
made sense to me
because
for a long time.
investment groups and stuff. One of the things I like about this launch imagery is there's a lot of close-ups of stuff
Yeah,
that I'm sure Adrian Newey cares a lot about. That I don't. I'm like, why are we seeing this part of the side pod?
Who is forcing you to take these photos?
Because of my protein.
It's just like a call for help.
I like it though. It's still pretty bland. There's a lot of carbon fiber, but that's a theme that I think
Yeah, that's true.
we'll hear a lot of.
Not bad. It's fine.
I just
Sum
really
it up
like
in
the
one
side
word.
profiles. Also, we do have to say we've gotten used to them, but the massive wheels look so cool. I love the big wheels. I'm so glad. And this car's more wheel than car. It's amazing.
It's apparent when you look at old clips and they have the smaller wheels. You're like, what are those? There's a go-kart.
What are those?
What is that little funny thing you got on your funny little cart there?
Are those your spare tires? Yep, good, but it looks fast, I suppose. But they all do.
Let's hope it's fast.
And looks like I miss the lighter blues of the Williams. This is a very if you close your eyes and think of the color blue, this is the blue that you
This
think
is the
of.
blue, yeah, that's true.
That's blue.
I don't mind it.
Royal blue. That's fine.
It's to make the white logos pop, right?
I suppose so. Yeah. Nice one. Next. Joe, do you want one word on Williams?
Yeah.
More like
Give us one word.
Swilliams.
Well, next is, oh man, what even do you call this team these days? They got 5 different names, all of them.
Sauber, Strike, V-Carb,
Yes.
Max.
Well, and I mean, there's just so much to get into with this livery as well. So let's just pull it up. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and go through it.
Okay. This is my take.
Okay.
Now, you get a bit of sports betting company action in Australia, and we get a lot of it in the UK, right? And now a lot of these brands don't own any image rights to the sports they're advertising that you can bet on. So you get it will be like bet on the football, and it'll look like the football, but it won't be any real players, and it will be like in jerseys and kits and stuff that looks made up.
Virtual sport, yep.
This looks like a fake Formula One car for an ad about we show all the sports down here at the betting shop, and you can bet on them all. Formula One, it'll just be motorsport, and it has that vibe about it. It's just like here it is, and it's the dry ice. It's the I don't know. Also, I think these things fall flat because with all of Formula One cars are so technical and so. Like from the sides, I think they look good. These cars look really good from the side. But then as soon as you take them from the front or a little bit closer and you see all of the mechanics all of the bits that go into like the rest of the aerodynamics and all the other little complications that go into a Formula One car, they're trying to make this one look like it's in kind of a dream scenario, that it's gonna be in Tron or something. But really, it's a whole bunch of carbon fiber and really complicated engineering. What do you think?
I hate it. I hate everything about it.
Good.
I mean, I hate that. I've always hated the name. The Stake F1 team kicks out. Like, what the hell? Look at this. Look at this little sponsor here. I thought this said Sensei time. I was like, hey, it's Sensei time, everybody. Maybe I'll say that every time Stake come on the TV. But I mean, this, like you say, it looks like a fake car. It looks like it's the car from a video game. This is the car from the video game where it's like 0G and you can drive up the wall. It's like
exactly.
They've obviously gone, maybe green must be the Stake color, right? But it's like they've gone green. No one else will have green. We'll own
that's
green
true,
on the grid.
I like green. When was the last green? A bit of Brawn green we had?
Was it? I guess you could argue that Aston Martin is green, but
yeah, the take from testing so far has been that the green is the FlowViz paint green.
Yeah,
and it's the high vis green, and that any single time you see anything high visibility green or FlowViz green, you're like, is that the set? Oh no, it's just somebody else there actually. I don't know. Even more of the racing game that lets you unlock a Formula One car, but they have no image rights, and this is what they came up with, right? Like it's fake fast car, and they all kind of look kind of similar. It's yeah, but the name's bad. We're all just going to call them Sauber. Good luck, right? They're just going to be Sauber this whole season.
Sauber. That's the one word.
Who drives for this team?
Sauber. Who drives for the team?
Zhou Guanyu.
Only
and
Zhou Guanyu and
Bottas.
Valtteri Bottas.
Well, they've been through a few name changes. It's hard to keep track.
It's true.
At least we'll know that it's them, right? At least whenever we see them, we'll never be like, "Who? Oh, no, that's them."
I don't know what to say. I just hope it's fast.
Is this rare or is it well done, Sauber? Because it's
right. Well, we're not going to top that, so let's move on. From
maybe with a nice peppercorn sauce, we might top
from
that.
that ridiculous team, we move on to
A normal
something
team?
less ridiculous. A bit
Okay.
more Williamsy, you might even say, perhaps.
It's a big
But
job.
it's not Williams. It is Alpine.
Alpine. I saw a few Alpines over Christmas actually, like in the wild, like actual racing, like sports car Alpines.
Well,
Gone are the days
I don't
of
think I've
all
ever
pink.
seen one.
Don't worry about it. They're not that impressive.
I won't go out of my way.
More carbon fiber rod. Could we do more? It's like, did they all think, you know what? Everybody else is going to be. It's like the matte paint thing when Red Bull were like, we're going to have matte finish on the cars, and everyone like, oh my god, matte paint
like-
everything.
The primary color is black with accents, but I just don't think that that's a livery.
No, this is. You could have paid him a little bit more. I'd like that it's blue wheels on the front and pink wheels on the back. I think that's
Oh
good.
wait, I'll have to go back and check that.
Yeah, back to check the tape.
Oh,
Back line.
wow.
Yeah, there we are. I like that.
Yeah, sure is
That's
that thing you
cool.
said. So, yeah, more of the same compared to the other liveries we've already looked at.
It's a shame because I really have always liked the pink.
Mm.
And I like the shades of blue and stuff. The car looks good. They all look good. They all look the same until you get into the fine details. Because this formula's old now, right? We're getting to the point where this is now the old formula. That
What
everyone's
do you mean?
what third season of this formula?
You're talking about the regulations.
Yeah. Like since our last big change, everyone's just trying to either
guess
copy
so.
Red Bull. Everyone's
it got to
throwing
do with
out their
liveries, then?
designs. Well, no, not just liveries, but like the design
Just
of the
mixing
car.
it up.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose. Yeah, again.
So you think when there's new regulations, everyone's going to go way out with wacky like neon liveries and stuff to be like
Yeah,
"New
or crazy stuff.
regulations."
Yeah, I think they go new regulations, and people go. You get weird stuff on the cars because everyone has slightly different ideas, and then you work out ways to put fun labels on things.
I guess
But
maybe.
so far, the Sauber Green, you might not like it, but at least it's a change. That's not in the direction of just more carbon fiber black on the cars.
Can't argue with that.
Yep.
Sum it up in one word: more black.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like how much more black could it be? And the answer is like none.
Mhm.
Oh, talk about teams with weird names.
Yeah, hit me.
We've got to get into this one.
Is it VCarb?
Have you had enough
Payment
carbs
cash.
today, Zach? Or do you need
I
some
still
more?
can't remember the real name though.
Visa
just
Cash
go by
App
RB. Yes, Visa Cash App. RB.
RB.
Yeah,
Horrible.
hamburgers and root beer.
I mean, even Visa RB or Cash App RB, but Visa Cash App RB? The car is literally called VCarb 01.
Yeah, I think VCarb is how I call them because that's like Visa Cash App Red Bull.
But it's not Red Bull,
VCarb.
it's RB.
It's RB. Sorry, yes, they can't be Red Bull. Like all of their football teams, they're not Red Bull. They're Rasenballsport or similar, like RB Leipzig and
Really
RB
ballsy.
Stuttgart. Yeah, not Stuttgart. Sorry, Salzburg.
This is obviously Daniel Ricciardo sitting in here. This is his car number 3. That must be him
Yep.
there.
Yeah,
Right, Dan?
I have
Oh, he's
always
gone.
liked it when just a disappearing act. Oh, he's off to Mercedes. I've always liked that when they color this like the Red Bull Cola cans, and this is the Red Bull Cola can. That's the best kind of Red
Yeah,
Bull that you can
it's-
get, and that's what it looks like.
A little bit of a return to those glory days. The Toro Rosso livery, where I'm pretty sure we on this show said that Toro Rosso livery, the can one, is the best one.
It's still the best one.
It's got echoes of that, but they've
Yep.
still
I kind of
sort
like
of
it.
managed to not. I mean, I guess they've got this Honda thing that they're bringing through. There's the Honda Stripe, but then they're bringing it through here as well.
Yeah, I think it's good. I like it. This is my favorite one so far. I like that it's shiny. I
It's
like
not
that
too black.
Yeah, one of the things that the Red Bull teams have usually had in their favor is they haven't had to like put too many weird logos because they are they are the
They
sponsor.
are the logo, yeah.
They're the thing. It's a bit like Ferrari cars generally, right? That they get to be red, and this
Spoilers.
looks like that can. Yeah, sorry. Ooh, um, I like the way the Visa fits on the side pod. The poor Visa though, they must have been like, "How big are you making the side pods?" And they were like, "Well, let me tell you, as tiny as possible." We thought we were going to be all over the side of the car. It's like, no, you're going to be sideways and wrapped around this little bit like dimple on the car.
We have a pro rata side pod agreement, right?
Yeah, if you paid us more, we can make the side pods bigger. We won't win as much, but man, will the logo
instead
look
of Visa, how about V's? It's cleaner.
That'd be too close to V, the energy drink, though, right? You can't have that.
Can't have that.
I think this is the best one. So that we've seen.
But I mean, been low bar so far, and this, I think there's room for improvement here. But I don't disagree that it's the best one so far, but there's room to improve.
What are you going to call them? Because they RB on all of their all their logos and stuff on the like timing boards and everything are all just RB.
RB is fine. What's wrong with RB?
What does the RB stand for now if it's not Red Bull?
Well, it just stands for really ballsy.
Really?
It stands for red something.
Oh, I don't know. This one looks like a Formula One car to me. This looks like the old Jags. This finally, here we are.
This like
nice big oil sponsor,
like a model car that you would actually buy.
Yes. Yeah.
They've done well, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about the Valvoline, Aramco.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somehow Valvoline gets a pass. That's an oil company. Any other oil company, I would be salty. But Valvoline, I mean, come on.
You know what I mean? Yeah, good on them. But yeah, they must be, because I think Valvoline is part of... that can't be right. Are they part of British Petroleum? But then Aramco's on there too. Man, I don't know. I think it's only Aramco because it's the Saudi Investment Fund is one of the key stakeholders in this team. So
excellent.
It feels weird. I've always thought this. It's very weird to have a sponsor who's also a Formula One sponsor and like also runs like mainly like two of the main races. Like it feels very odd. So anyway, but I do like this car. Like, yeah, it feels like a throwback, that livery. I really like that it's that. But, I mean, love that color.
It's all about the color. And all you have to do is just put that color everywhere and it's going to look good. Like,
it's
you have to go out of your way to make it look bad.
Yeah, it suits Fernando Alonso. This is the color that I imagine his like nice trousers are that he wears to the snooker room.
Nice trousers.
Yeah, he's got some nice green kind of suede-y, velvety trousers that he wears. Why have they made it look like it's kind of floating though? The shadows are all weird on these mock-ups.
Like a bit strange.
Do you think this is a photo or is this a render?
Are these not all renders?
I think they might all be renders, but maybe not. That could be a photo. Photoshopped.
Oh, they're definitely touched up, if nothing else.
The tires look real.
This looks a bit rendery.
Yeah.
But then maybe that's...
I reckon the logos are rendered. I reckon someone's put the logos on to make them pop in a way that is not a photo. But yeah, good and, consistent. What are they actually called on paper? Are they Aston Martin?
Aramco Visa Cash App.
Yep. Stroll through the park.
Have you seen Stroll? Oh, we're going to talk about this.
Tell me.
Stroll, sort of Star Trek style, has an evil Stroll goatee and mustache.
No. Can you bring up a photo of that? Do you have that around?
Yeah, let's do that. We pause our previously scheduled transmission.
Yeah, for
Evil Stroll.
For Evil Stroll.
Stroll testing 2024.
Mustache.
Evil Stroll rod joke. Let's see what comes up. This is gonna Google image search is no good.
Usually we use the word junk in those circumstances.
Here we go. Oh, this is so evil. This is gonna be great. All right, here we go. Prepare. Like, just imagine in your mind.
I'm ready. I'm gonna close my eyes and you tell me when to open them.
Open now.
No. It's like he went, like, did he go, I'm going to be calm over the winter break, I'm going to the British Virgin Islands and I'm going to become a diver. And I'm hanging out with Matthew McConaughey. And I've come back and I love to hacky and I've got bead bracelets and
Yeah.
I am. It's not that I'm not shaving. It's just that I'm getting this styled. It's bad.
He's the evil twin who is like he's like the real Lance Stroll is locked in a cupboard somewhere.
Yeah,
And
this is Lance Stroll.
I'm the new Lance Stroll now.
Yeah. Maybe his dad just went and
Telling you.
got face swap surgery and it's actually Lawrence Stroll in Lance's body.
Probably need a little bit more
It's
than
no
just
good.
face
But
swap,
Fernando
but-
had that look for a little while though.
All right.
Fernando had the goatee
well,
moustache. He
yeah.
copied him. I'm going to copy
I
his
think
driving
we made
style.
that joke about evil Fernando at the same time as well.
Yeah.
Should we have a look at the Mercedes?
Yes, please. Although I already know my feelings on this.
Oh no, wait. This is Hamilton's
Oh,
car next year.
sorry. Yeah. Oh,
Got ahead
good.
of
Love
myself.
those shark fins. Those shark. What do you call them? Not fins. What are the bits? The glands? No,
Are they
the
shark fins? Oh, you mean these
No.
cut-ins?
yeah. What
the
are they
gills.
called? Gills. Thank you. Gills.
Yeah, they look
I
good.
like how red it is. I think it's nice. I really love the richness of the red. But they haven't
This
gone
red
with that
looks really
fake
good.
light red. This is the real Ferrari red for me.
There is. I mean, it's the joke. Ferrari car. I wonder if it'll be red. I know, but there's been someone did a comparison of the Ferrari reds over the last 7 or 8 years, and it does change.
Yeah.
But I think this is really getting somewhere.
Yeah, and I've always loved it now that they put the proper Ferrari logo on the rear wing. They did that
It's
last
always
season
nice.
as well. And I know it doesn't say Marlboro anymore and stuff, and that's iconic because they can't do that. Then they had the barcode, which we all knew meant Ferrari.
Mission Winner is gone as well.
Yeah, no more Mission Winnow, which was just Marlboro in a different package.
Shh, they'll hear us.
Yeah, shit, they might sponsor us. Damn. You wouldn't know if they sponsored us because that's the whole thing that they sponsor. But you don't even know. I like the yellow white from Shell. I think they're nice swoopy lines. Look,
I think
those
the,
line painters are getting a lot of work at all the teams this year. Like,
That's true. The racing suits, I think, have got more yellow as well. Yellow on the trim.
okay,
I believe.
that's good. Yellow, the color of oil when you shine a bright light through it. That's the yellow that we want to use. Like their little. More teams have got the little hole in the nose this year that they're allowed to play with in the regulations to get more ventilation
haven't seen
into the
that.
driver and stuff as well. So you're seeing little triangles cut in or little vents.
And what is that to blow air on the driver? Is that what you said?
That's what I heard, but I don't know if it's true. I rushed through that because I don't know if I heard that correctly. I could be
Okay.
wrong,
All
but I
right,
think it's
interesting.
about getting some more because not a lot of air is meant to make it to the driver, right? Because it's meant to sweep over the car, and he's part of the car. That photo on the right makes it look so long. There's
It's
something about that
very long.
aspect and that perspective. It's like, why did you Pinocchio? Did that car just lie about how fast it was going to be? Like, God,
There's some
really?
perspective going on here, I think. The lens is
Yeah.
quite wide. But
I had a moment this year, Rob, when I saw the video that Ferrari put out of like
Yeah.
the little shakedown that Carlos Sainz did. That was nice of them, right? They announced that he's getting fired, and then he's like, "Why don't you drive the car out first?
yeah.
At Maranello?" And I was like, "I was there recently. I've looked at that track. I've seen not a Formula One car driving around there, but other Ferraris." I'm like, "Oh,
Love
that's
that.
sweet."
It's like when you
That's
go to
cool.
New York for the first time, and then every TV show, you're like, oh, I've been there,
Oh.
I've been there, I've been there.
Exactly. But yeah, more of the same. But I do like the little yellow and white bits and bobs that they've plastered around the Scuderia. Kind of. I remember years ago, my mum had gone to Europe, and I was a kid, and she brought back like a Ferrari T-shirt or something. And I had a friend whose older brother said, "Now you know that's actually a real Ferrari licensed merch because it's got." The two little lines above the Ferrari logo that are like make it more of a shield.
Oh, yeah,
And
right.
I was like, oh, right. Oh, that's
You
good to
get a-
know. And now I look out for that all the time.
yeah, cool.
But yeah, it's cool. Anyway, the Ferrari logo is really interesting. They had a whole thing about it at the factory and at the museum about like where it came from. And it's like a lot of racing brands. These things often come from like the airstrips and it was our fighter pilot crew,
Mhm.
our because they used to do all their testing and they still do it like all like old airfields and stuff. And so I think they got it from that. I think that's right. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's right. Anyway, Cool. Do we like it?
We are for this week's show. We are broadcasting live on YouTube, and there was a comment from Mel saying this is the best looking car of the year in his humble opinion. So,
Oh yeah,
I do agree.
I think so.
I think it's the best looking Ferrari that we've had for a little while. I think it is a bit of it's a little bit old fashioned, but I might get used to it.
You got to be right, but I also like the way that they were like, you know what, the little bits of carbon fiber black we're going to have, they're part of the livery. They're not
Yeah.
like we chose to paint around some bits. They're like, no,
True.
no, let's make it mainly red, and then this bit is like a really lovely part of it. It feels holistically designed.
Yes.
Not like they put the labels on first of all the logos, and then they're like, cool, now where can we draw? What's
Yeah.
left?
Good job, Ferrari. Well done.
Yep,
I think that's
we
a
love
good
it.
looking car.
It's our favorite
There's
one.
only a couple left.
Mal,
So
I'm
what do we
with
got
you.
next? Oh, McLaren. Let's have a look at theirs.
I don't know if have I seen the McLaren in
You're
like
about to get a
this?
real good look at it, or at least some renders.
Mm.
I mean, you can imagine what the McLaren car of recent years has looked like. It's not worlds apart from that.
Gotta be papaya, right? Yeah. Too much black. Next. What do you feel about this, right? So the Infinity Wall shot, but then, so these are obviously renders, I think. I could be wrong,
Okay.
but but then they've made it look like it was a real photo shoot. So I don't know. I never loved the behind the scenes. Like, we didn't get a big enough Infinity Wall to put it on. Like, this is the one we usually shoot the drivers or helmets with. And now,
Yeah,
oh,
it's a bit
shit,
like that.
the car's massive, guys. Why didn't we get a bigger Infinity Wall?
I mean, if this is a real deal, why don't they match up? Why is that different than this one?
Different part of the showroom. I reckon their renders, the ones that have been made to make it look like it's in the lobby at the McLaren place.
So wait a
McLaren
second. Wait
HQ.
a second.
Yeah, they've
If
moved
you
it
could
around.
put it that
Wait, if it's
way,
wide enough there,
why didn't you put it that way this way?
guys!
Look how long this is, and then look how short this width here is. That doesn't
They
make
wound it up, and that's
sense.
also one continuous one. So I'm pointing at the screen like you
Yes.
can. But the other ones is like it's two sometimes. Anyway, also, why
What
did you
is
make it
up with
that
that?
weird beige instead of like a proper orange for that? Like, it's a really weird contrast color, or make it white or black or something. I'm having more feelings about this than I thought I would, but yeah, it could be more orange.
I feel like
Upset it's not.
McLaren didn't have a good livery for a long time, and then when this concept was first introduced, I thought it was quite good. But it's almost like a remix of a remix of a remix at this point, and I don't
Yeah,
know.
why are you holding on to
Time
the
for something
papaya
different,
at this point?
or add
Yeah.
some white, because the papaya and white was sort of more
Yeah.
the old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe. I don't know how I feel about the Google Chrome wheels. I thought I liked them last year, and this year I'm like, it's a bit gauche.
What else you got? What
Yeah,
else you got?
do something
Seen that.
different.
Been
Yeah.
there, bought the t-shirt. Next.
Lame. On to the only two. Wait, we must have two more teams, right? Because we haven't
Two
looked at-
more.
Yeah. Here we go.
I think this first one, I think,
Mercedes.
is a bit of a winner. I think. Well, I mean, these are both. There's
Ooh.
nothing too special about either of them. But I feel like this one, because they've been in two minds for so long. Silver,
Silver or black?
Silver, black. How about silver, black?
Yeah.
How about blilver?
Blilva. Slack was taken.
There's some other thing. I don't mind it. If you've got to have a car with some black, I mean, I feel like they've got the proportions of the accent color
Yeah.
better than some other people have.
But then at the end, they were like, oh shit, the Mercedes logo things, because we said that we would always have Lauda's red one on the. Ah, shit. Okay, quick. Put them on the back. I think it's cool that from the front it looks like a silver car. And then
Okay.
I think that's nice. I like that. And I wish it was more silver.
Okay.
And now it is mostly black from that angle. And I don't like that as much.
I feel
think
like
it's a
some
bit
of the
boring.
silver is inheriting the black in these renders, though, from the environment. So,
Yeah.
like, I
More
think
work
on track it'll look more silver than these do.
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that. And more line drawing work for the person who draws the nice sweeping long lines down cars. Do you reckon they roll the car past the person with the steady hand, or does that person with the steady hand draw the line all the way down?
Maybe, I don't know. I've only gone and done it again. Sorry, Mel. He left a comment on the video. As much as I love McLaren, their IndyCar liveries are miles better.
Yes.
Alexander Rossi's livery is like a classic Marlboro livery. Yeah, well, I couldn't agree more. I feel like the more McLaren leans into the retro stuff, the better.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Good use of miles as well because it's IndyCar. If you were talking about a European driving
What is
sport,
a
it would be
kilometer?
kilometers better. um, yeah. Off. Okay, fine. It's good.
Well,
They really met the brief here, is what I would
let me
say.
put
They
it to you
didn't.
this way: you and me are gonna say whether we prefer the Mercedes car or the Red Bull car better.
Okay, great. I'm ready for the Red Bull.
You're red, ready.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have to wait several more seconds while I get it ready, but prepare your expectations.
That's how much slower the field is than Max Verstappen this season. Several seconds.
Honestly, if you told me this was any car from the last 6 years, I'd believe you.
God, they are like that, aren't they? It just,
They do be like that.
yeah. What happened to the days of the like, and now it's Zebra for testing?
Don't get me started.
I find it really sad, but they have to, right? Because that they are trying to be the Ferrari, I suppose. Like this is it that they've got to be. They have to be that.
They're going for iconic. They're trying to make this iconic, and they, to a degree, have.
It looks boaty though. I think because the black doesn't contrast with the. It does, right? Doesn't it? The black
Boaty
doesn't
is the best
contrast
description.
with the navy well enough, so it just looks kind of
Lots of boats in the
globular,
navy.
like it's melting. It's melted down into lots of boats in the navy.
Is this?
Yep,
Why is it
tick.
two of the same? What's this?
Different drivers' cars. Like this one is
11,
the good
yeah, it
one.
is.
This one we put a power unit in.
This one, yeah,
is
we put all the.
Perez's.
This one
There's
has
nothing
party
in
mode. This one, whatever.
Some junk. This one's mainly carrying parts for Max's one.
Well, I mean, what do you say? Like, just
This
there's
is a
nothing-
render. This isn't a photo either. This
Oh,
is
for sure.
100% a render. The lighting's too weird. Again,
There's this billowy little floor on the sides here. I guess some of the talk about this
Bodhi
car, and I don't know how the car that they took the testing compares to these renders, but the side pod work has been a topic of discussion.
yeah, how did they get it so small?
How do they do it?
Adrian just sits down with his pen and drafting sticks and board and paper and goes, you know what? This time, I'm going to draw it even smaller and then tell everybody that they've got to make it like that and see if they can squish everything. Because that's what they used to say about like that period of Max, right? That they would be like, cool, like the lampshade Macintosh. And they were like, cool. So we drew it we really like this shape. And then engineering, you go and make a motherboard
You go make that
and
happen.
a hard drive and everything fit in that. And they went, like Bob Mansfield, or his name was, tells a great story about that, where he's just like, we almost just said no. We always just said, why do we have to make everything from scratch every time? Because you guys come and be like, make it go around corners, like, but it's a computer. Here we go. And I feel like
It's
that's
made
what
out of square bits.
everyone's waiting on Adrian Newey's design. And he turns up and he's like, so this is the most aerodynamic thing that exists on Earth. You can't, you not only could you
Yeah.
drive this upside, you could drive it upside down on the moon. It's so aerodynamic.
So,
And
bad
now
news.
fit the car in.
I sent you the car from 2 years ago. Good news. That was a good car.
Oh, fuck you. How did you do that?
I didn't actually do that.
Oh.
That's what Adrian Newey tells the team.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
So, Zach,
yeah.
you've seen the Mercedes, you've seen the Red Bull. Which livery do you rate?
The Mercedes one, because at least
Thank
it's got that silver black trickster
Me too.
action happening. We've agreed. Our first agreement of the season.
A first agreement. There it is. Hey.
It's part of our new philosophy, right? It's
It's-
to disagree less.
I didn't agree to that. What else is on the old Notes Arena? There's a couple of little things, just testing stuff. You've watched one day of testing, which is one day more than me. Not
tried
even one
to.
day, but some of
Just
it.
put it on in the background, and I forgot
Yeah.
how boring it
I
is,
shared
but
the
it is
highlights
nice
video
seeing them
to the
driving
Discord,
around.
so I feel like I contributed, but I didn't.
But one of the
absorb
nice
much.
things about watching testing is that there's cars going around the track, and then Sky are like, we're going to go talk to people who know about the sport. Like, we're going to go interview team principals, and like you get to see the wider team of people who actually know a lot about the stuff, and that's actually very interesting. It's a bit like a I don't know. It's a bit like when you watch the cricket, maybe like this is kind of like they have to keep like test cricket. There's like kind of like let's cut some other stuff that's going on, or
Yeah.
like let's I don't know. It's very entertaining for that. But yeah, today with the curb breaking and then damaging cars, it just put it on in the background, and then it was like, oh, red flag, everything's gone. There'll be no more racing today.
Yeah. Time to show highlights for 2006 Pakistan versus India.
Yeah, it's raining. Why? they're not going to get that time back, which seems mad because they get about 5 minutes of testing before the season starts, it seems. The cars don't really seem to break down though anymore. Like testing yesterday was just everyone just driving around. It was all
Yeah.
great. There was an Alex Albon, maybe his car seemed to just stop, and everyone was speculating about whether it'd run out of fuel. And then there was even more speculation from Will Buxton, who was like, I think it's a secret test to see what he will do if the car breaks in that circumstance around fuel. Like they're kind of testing this kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't think they'd want to test it so it's
He is infuriating.
Like it breaks down on the track and stops testing for everyone. I don't think they're there to test those kinds of things. Like,
3 days
they
of
don't really
testing.
want that
Let's
to happen.
fuck around. Let's play mental tricks with the
that's
driver.
One of my favorite things
You
to
know,
do is fuck around and find
Most
out.
of the time, for any F1 luminaries or influential people, there's an open door invitation for them to come on the show anytime they want. Will
And defend
Buxton,
themselves.
I don't know, he needs a majority vote.
So Will Buxton says, Rod, Zach, I'll come on and tell you that the guy who finishes first, that's the most important thing. And it's harder to drive in the wet.
There was a Will Buxton meme when the Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari news broke, and it was Will Buxton saying, when Hamilton goes to Ferrari, he will no longer be at Mercedes. Just nailed it.
It's true. It's true. I would. He can come on. I think he'd be fine.
Like, he would come on, but
Yeah, I don't think he'd do anything for our listenership though. That's the shame.
you don't think? You don't think?
No. You know what would be a good segment though? Get him to explain things that aren't Formula One, but in that way to us, right? So like now, when you put things in the oven, you got to make sure the oven's hot. Otherwise, they won't cook through, and that has been a problem in the past for Ferrari.
Yeah. So, like, Will, I've got this part in my hair, and no matter how I comb it, it always sticks up. What's that about? Explain it to me.
Explain it to me. Like I'm never. Like I don't have. I have no clue about the principles of how the world works.
Why do people put salt in their food, Will? Explain it to me.
When it has started, it has no longer stopped. But when it stopped, it hasn't started. Good for him, though.
Anyway, I was going to say my big takeaway from the first day of testing was all the teams got good laps in. All of them showed up with a car that worked. Number one, we have had years where that didn't happen.
Yep.
We've had years
Teams
where there
turn
was
up and
one
go,
day, sometimes
"We're using
2
last
days
year's
where
car."
they completed 0 laps.
Yeah.
But no such case this year. And I'm sure that's partly to do with the bedding down of the regulations, as you say.
Yeah, costs.
These regulations
stuff
haven't changed
as well.
too much for a little while, exactly. So good signs coming out of testing in terms of reliability and just the car turning on and going.
This is the stabilization of the sport, I think, is that I genuinely think it's like, let's make it all
true.
work for everyone.
But
Bad
what I was
news,
going
though.
to say is one bad news. On the vein of the stabilization of the sport, Red Bull still seems quick. And it's just testing. I know, I'm throwing my hands up. I know it's just testing.
Yeah,
but boy, Red Bull seem quick.
Yeah, but why? Of course, what did we think was going to happen? That Mercedes was going to. Well, they did say that. Like, we're basically going to throw out our car and we're kind of starting again and we're copying these bits. We still believe in this bit. And then even the teams that could copy Red Bull, like their sister teams and the teams they buy parts from and all that kind of stuff, are like, the best we could do from a cost perspective is get your 2023 car kind of working for us. So yeah, even if they're still a half step ahead, that's enough for Max Verstappen to he can squeeze that out like any small advantage, inch to a mile. I think for Max, it's like it has it's almost like a logarithmic effect, like outsized impact.
Yeah.
Like if the car is 2% better, he will make it appear 10% better because it's in the right way for him.
What worries me is not that they're 1 second faster now. What worries me is what if they're 1 second faster and they're sandbagging?
They definitely are as well. They always do this. It's not even a joke anymore. Like it's so past memeable that they just go, all we're here for really is to put as many laps into this car as possible because it was fundamentally already the best. So all we did is, Adrian drew the lines a little smaller this time. and probably we know kind of that they are kind of developmentally further ahead because they had the season wrapped up pretty quick last year, that they were just like, it's not like they said everyone have a break. They're like, get those secret sketchbooks out and say you're not working on the new car, but you definitely are.
Come May, they weren't like, we're worried about this car. we better keep working on this one before we move to the no, it's not.
They didn't even really need to, right? Like that. I love when you play these kinds of games where you're like, could you just take last year's car? Is it still going to be better than everybody else's new cars in 2024?
Yeah.
Probably. Like it's so good. Yeah, good on them.
Probably.
I'm happy for maybe. I'm kind of invested in the narrative that Max wins every single race. That would be quite
I
good.
don't know. I feel like he might come out and not win the first one, and then it'll just be like, well, that ruins that.
We could do with some more crashes though. Maybe that's the thing. It was so clean last year. I feel like everyone's making sure that they don't crash because it costs too much money if you crash. I think maybe this year we'll get a little bit more chaos. No drivers, nothing new though, right?
No,
We haven't
no
got any new
drivers.
drivers.
That was weird to me. That threw me a little bit.
I suppose we did get Oscar through the season, right? Oh no, and we got a little bit of Lewis. Sorry, Lawson. Sorry, Liam Lawson, not Lewis. God, that's a mouthful. Lewis Lawson. Oh, maybe ate him like Kirby style, and then change his name. Noim.
Name.
Yeah, and we got Daniel, I suppose,
Yeah, that's true.
but
It feels a bit samey.
It is a little bit samey.
No big shake up.
At least we got Yuki still though. Bit of Yuki. Still got.
At least we got
in the
Yuki.
line. Lasted longer than I expected.
What was that?
Yuki has lasted longer than I expected.
Oh, well, I mean, he's on a slow improvement, but the trajectory is up.
Get the Mercedes drive, 2025. I don't see it happening.
Chill out. Jeez, you might be listening.
Hey, man, open invitation. Yuki, if you just want to jump
he
on,
gets an open invitation.
here's the
He
link.
gets a pass. The last thing I want to close out on before we completely wrap up the show is number one, season predictions. We need to just predict some stuff.
Couple of
What's going to
things.
go down this year?
Okay. So, you want me to do that now, right? I thought you were going to reel off the things we have to do.
There's
left,
no
but
pressure on
let's
you
do
to go
the
first,
predictions.
but it seems like you want to, so go ahead.
This is the show, always, right? Welcome to the show. Zach rushes in. What's going to be my hot take? I think Aston Martin aren't going to be very good, at all. I think the other teams have really worked themselves out. I think between Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, even Alpine, even Williams, I think that there's going to be way more competition in the middle. And I don't think that Aston Martin's we got loads of money and we had all these Mercedes parts and stuff, and it's all good. I don't think that will be enough this season. And I think Stroll is going to be shown to be just nowhere near good enough. And even Sauber might be better. Even maybe Komatsu will work some magic at Haas. I think it's going to be in the first part of the year, especially, pretty tight. And I think it's not going to be looking good at the end. And maybe Alonso at the end of the season will be like, well, this has been fun, guys. But I either want to leave or there's some other seats going around that I think I could pop into for fun. So, yeah, that's my hot take, my prediction. What do you think?
I was. You sort of touched a little bit on it there. I was going to say Williams' top 5 teams, the front half of the grid instead of the back half for a change. That would be cool.
Yeah, we'd just be happy for Alex, right? I think we're at are we Albon stands? I think we are.
Yeah.
I think we like Alexander Albon. Yeah,
I think we like him.
yeah.
I want a hot take about Mercedes. Who's going to finish the year on more points, Lewis or Russell?
I think it has to be Russell. Because I don't think Lewis. It really depends if the car's good. If the car's good, I think Lewis will just be like, "Oh, let's really go for it. Let's try to win the championship." If it's not that good,
call.
I think that he'll be like, "All right,
if the car's
cool,
competitive,
let's
he
ride
will
it out."
try. If
Yeah,
the car's
he
not
will be
competitive,
he'll
he'll be just
hard.
throwing it in.
And we'll know really early, that first qualifying session. Also, remember everybody, first race is on a Saturday this season. Don't forget.
Yes.
I forgot that completely, and I don't know if I'll be able to watch it live.
The first 2 races. Races on Saturday.
Both of them. What are they competing against? What are people going to do on the Sunday?
We haven't even talked about this yet, but we will later. We will at some point in future about the change to the sprints, where they're doing the sprints before qualifying on Saturday now, which is, I think, a good change.
Yes.
But
so,
maybe we'll talk about that when it happens.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think that Lewis, if the car's great, he's going to be really I could win the championship here. Or I'm going to really put it to everyone and show that I am hot shit. And when I get to Ferrari, then I'm going to be even hotter shit.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's the call of the day, is that if the car's not competitive, that makes
We'll get
it
a tepid
way.
Hamilton.
It brings Russell right back into play for coming out on top for the year. I don't know. Is that all? Is that all we want to talk about? I think we're pretty much done.
I think we're pretty much done. I just have to
Gonna
remind
keep
myself
reboot
who
the
the
old
other.
fantasy league.
Yeah, I think so. I was just trying to remind myself who the other Williams driver was. Because
Go
I
ahead.
always keep thinking it's Logan Sargent, right?
Logan Sargent, that's right.
You got it. and then,
I was
and then
like,
when
"Are
you're
you
like,
gonna
go ahead, and I
remember?"
was like, yeah, it's Logue.
Just tell us.
Logue Sarge. Sergeant himself. Didn't get a promotion this year to lieutenant, the one after sergeant? Corporal, maybe. I don't know.
Senior sergeant.
Senior sergeant. Logan. Oh, man. His dad's probably senior sergeant. I can imagine his dad at home
Hopefully
being
senior
like, I'm
sergeant.
senior
Logan's my
sergeant.
dad.
Yeah. God, good on him. He had some
He's
good
doing all right.
he had some good
He's doing
performances.
fine.
Yeah. Everyone can have a good performance in the last part of the season, though. It's fine. Nice one. Yeah, fantasy, 100%. I did toy with the idea of trying to make my team as bad as possible to see if I could get the lowest points. But
Oh yeah, I've been doing that for 10 years.
great. Yeah, how's it going for you? Pretty
Well, I
good.
lose every year.
Yeah, they're big calls. Ah, man. Do you go with Red Bull and Max because you have to nullify everybody else doing that?
Mm.
Or do you go the contra strategy and try to make it up and be like, on the weekends when it doesn't work out for him, I'm going to get loads of points?
Or you've got to go
tricky.
better. I mean, this is where the people who do very well in fantasy understand the values and what gets points. And it might not be the driver that wins,
meta.
but the driver who qualifies 15th but finishes 8th. He gets
Yeah.
more points than the winner. I'm like, I can't understand any of this. That's why
Yeah.
I'm no good at this.
It's got to be Fernando Alonso then, right? I feel like he's going to have bad qualifying because the car's not going to be fast on Saturdays. Although that's race day now. What are we going to say?
No.
The whole lingo goes out the door when we
What is
change the
qualifying?
form.
Is it sprint day or is it qualifying day? I'm all
What
turned
is
around.
race day? Race days are Sundays. I'm becoming an old man. I'm like, no, racing on Sunday. I'm not ready for it on Saturday.
Oh, dear me.
Also,
Well,
I think that's going to have a big impact on people like you, right? You're going to have to, instead of being in the nightclubs, the Studio 54s of the world on a Saturday night, you're going to have to be at home watching Formula One. Suppose you don't have work the next day, so you could stay up late. Make it a party. Party every weekend.
Well, sometimes I can stay up late or watch the stream on
Watch
the
the
morning while I'm working.
stream. Yeah,
Very pleasant.
that's a good one. Okay. So
Well,
we'll have
anyway.
more details well, you know, if you've been in it before, it'll be the same league and stuff. You just be able to log in and you'll be in there. But if you're
Well, I'll
not,
tell
we'll
you
have the
where you
code.
can go if you want to know the details. You can go to the Discord.
Discord.
You can go to the website, which is superlicense.fm. Zach, the FM stands for.
Well, Formula Men. It's the first episode of the season.
Sure.
Formula
Keep
Men.
it classic.
Yeah.
And
Like a Ferrari
there's
livery.
there's links to all of these things on the website, but you can also follow us on Threads, which is the other place that I'll share the link to the.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I've been
right.
social media cleansing for a little while, except TikTok. But trying not to be as much online. It hasn't worked.
Let's
that
set
well.
up. Let's set up the TikTok before we
We
start.
will.
Yeah, we will. We will, but we're not gonna. Don't mention it on the podcast.
Oh shit! Yeah. Sorry. When are you
Coming
putting these
soon.
out again?
Something
Yes.
else. But we're not putting all this video stuff out there just for nothing
No, mate. I didn't put my face on just for this.
because we've got to play the game. All right. We've gone a little bit over time, but it's been such a pleasure talking to you. Big season ahead. I can't wait to go through all of the bigger stories with you. And yeah.
When's
I hope
our next
everyone is
episode going to be?
excited.
Do you want to? It's going to be somewhere between. I got to go run a marathon and then in Tokyo, and then and then that's
TBC.
this race weekend. Pardon? TBC.
TBC on the next
but
episode.
definitely it'll be probably after those first or second race. We'll definitely get something in.
At some point.
We wanted to you got to get the shakeout of the season going, right? You know, you don't come to us for like hot off the press, like, oh my God, here's your instant reaction to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. That's not it. You come to us for the low and slow. With the barbecue,
Yes.
Texan
That's-
barbecue of Formula
that's
One.
what we're going for.
We let the idea stew and the news
Just let it
come out
stew in its own
fully.
juices.
Wait for the full reaction, and then we react to what is actually happening.
Well, Zach, we normally have a very smooth, formulaic outro. We know exactly what we're doing, but it's all out the window because we can't do the oh yeah, we can't time it up anymore. But I'm going to play the music. We can either sit here silently or keep talking.
Play the
But,
music now. Let's see if we can time it.
Well, okay, this could be interesting. We could both do it then. But I mean, at one point I will just hit it, and then we'll just have to time up the oh yeah. But we may as well say now our farewells.
Yeah.
So until next time, I've been Rod,
And I've been Zach.
and we'll see you next time on the Super License Podcast. Stay tuned. Until then, bye bye.
Bye bye. That's what's going to go on.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh come on.
Oh.
There's probably an audio lag. I don't
There
know.
might be. Maybe not. Maybe we've really nailed it after all these years. Some people are
Finally.
like, what, you don't time it like that every time?